Hello and welcome to today's Here's to Your Health podcast. I'm your host, Don Lintzman. And on the podcast today, we have two guests. One is Kate Ohlmeyer. Kate is a certified environmental services technician here at CCMH, also a part of our SCA team, our Service Excellence Advisors. Kate, how long have you been here?
I've been here, I'm going on 4 years.
4 years.
November, so.
And my other guest on the program today is Bob Fink. Bob is our Director of Maintenance and Facility Services. And Bob, thank you for your time today.
Thanks.
And how about you, Bob? How long have you been here?
I have been here for 3 years.
For 3 years. So a couple of things we want to talk about. The reason Kate and Bob are with us today is because this is National EVS Week, Environmental Services Week, and in healthcare, environmental services is a big deal. And we've kind of made it a big deal around here because we've got a lot of stuff going on, but probably, Bob, maybe what we need to start out with is the certification process that we put our EVS technicians through. Let's talk about that for just a second.
So the certification process is done through the AHE, which is the Association for the Healthcare Environment, which is a branch of the American Hospital Association. And I went and got certified to be the trainer. And I train all of the EVS staff when their time permits. They have to be here for so many years first. And it's about 24 hours worth of training. There's a lot of mostly infection prevention, a lot of customer service stuff in there, a lot of chemical management and mixing stuff in there. And I know when they're done, they've learned a whole lot that they didn't know before.
I think the point of that entire explanation, Bob, is the fact that EVS is not just some guy or gal running around with a mop or a broom, but there's a certain way that especially in a healthcare setting, you have to go about doing your business to do exactly what you're talking about, and that is to prevent infections.
That's right. That's the key factor for EVS is infection prevention. A lot of places are actually changing the titles from EVS to infection preventionist.
Which would make a lot of sense. Kate, in the 4 years that you've been here, what do you think has been the most challenging aspect of what you do for EVS?
Well, I would say when I first started, it was the COVID pandemic that we were going through because the guidelines on how we clean stuff and how we dealt with it were changing just every day. And so it was kind of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of deal where you didn't know what it was going to be like the next day, and so I think that was a very challenging, especially for me starting into that. I think it's only gotten a little bit easier since I've been here.
Well, it's hard to believe it could have gotten any worse.
Right, yeah, right.
And what's the most satisfying thing to you about working in EVS?
Although I don't do it very often, I do really like working in the morning, doing the daily cleanings, talking to the patients, just kind of giving them that more personal experience, because no one likes to be in the hospital. And so it really makes me feel good if I can make them laugh or get them what they need and just make them try to have a little bit better of a day, because no one likes to be in the hospital. So,
my guests on the podcast today are Kate Ohlmeyer. Kate is an EVS technician here at CCMH, and Bob Fink, who's our Director of Maintenance and Facility Services. Bob, recently CCMH won an award for our EVS department.
We did. We were recognized as one of the top 350 cleanest hospitals in the nation.
And one of 15 in Iowa.
Yes.
So out of the 100 and almost 20 hospitals in Iowa, we were in the top would be 5% of all of the hospitals in Iowa when it comes to cleanliness.
Well, and we're actually the top 5% in the entire country.
Which would also be true.
Yes, because there's 6,210 hospitals.
We looked it up.
Yeah, because we were pretty proud of it. So.
Well, there's no reason not to be proud of being a part of a team that wins an award like that, because that is, it isn't something that happens very often, and to be set apart from the other 95% of hospitals in the United States, I think is a pretty impressive accomplishment, and one that we shouldn't take too lightly. Kate, as you look back over the 4 years that you've spent time here and the different responsibilities that you have, maybe you can talk a little bit about what you do specifically every day in terms of cleaning patient rooms or patient care areas. What are the things that you do that you think really help prevent any sort of infection?
Well, I know a big part is especially like doing the med unit room. So like say you have a C. diff room, which is technically classified as a hospital-acquired infection most of the time. And so we know to use the proper chemicals and let them sit on there for the contact time to make it work. And if you do all of those steps, you know for a fact that it's sterilized and ready to go. And I think that's a big part. That's entirely what we do.
And the chemicals part of this, Bob mentioned it earlier, and you just mentioned it again. Maybe for the people at home who don't have a real good, clear understanding. I mean, look, I clean my house and I use sanitizing wipes and some of those kinds of things, but we obviously are going a step further than that.
Yes, we use stuff that is approved by a board of some sort, I would assume, that's to be able to be used in hospitals. So we use hospital-grade disinfectants is what they're called, and we on our SDS sheets, our safety data sheets, it tells us how long we need to leave it on there, what we can use it on, and vice versa on different kinds of surfaces, porous, non-porous, and stuff like that. And so, which is a big part of the certification that Bob put us through, is just understanding how you have to clean certain things different ways for different pathogens and whatnot. And so it's very in-depth.
And Bob, my understanding is that right now you've got a full crew, and for the most part, we've had a very stable crew now over the last couple of years or so. But we're still looking for one more person to come join the award-winning team in the EVS department.
We are looking for one more person that's during the day shift time. That has been the biggest challenge. It's kind of different for me. Usually a day shift job is very easy to fill. I have a lot of applicants, but most all of them want to work on the night shift.
Interesting. So, they must obviously have heard about Cade and his reputation, and so
probably all Cade.
I'm a big draw, Don. What can I say?
But the day shift is really no different than the night shift, except from what Cade talked about earlier, and that is actually interacting with patients.
Yes, it's a lot more interacting with patients. So.
And that could maybe be what keeps people from applying?
Bashfulness, shyness.
It takes a certain kind of person in order to be able to do those kinds of things.
Yep.
But I do know that we've got a great crew, great staff. We offer a competitive wage, and we've got great benefits. So if somebody who's listening to this today wants to apply, what would you suggest they do?
They have to go to the CCMH website and click on the careers tab and apply.
And hopefully we'll get an opportunity to talk to somebody, and they'll be a successful candidate, and they can come join us. Kate, you're going to get the last word today in terms of how you feel about EVS and the hospital and everything that we have going on here.
I think that the crew that we have is very good. I think we all do our job very dutifully, and I'm very proud to be part of the team. It made me feel very good when we got that award.
Yeah,
and if anybody is listening and you do apply, tell them I referred you, if you would. So.
There might be a referral bonus in this.
No. There's no exterior motive. No.
My guest, thank you both. I appreciate it very much.
Man.
My guests on the podcast today have been Kate Olmeyer. Kate is an EVS technicians here at the hospital, and Bob Fink is our Director of Maintenance and Facility Services. We've been talking about EVS Week and the great job that all of our environmental services techs do. If you do have an interest in applying for a position here at CCMH, as Bob mentioned, go out to ccmhia.com. Click on the employment link. It'll take you to all of the open jobs. You can apply online there, and hopefully you can come join us here at CCMH. I'm your host, Don Linsman, on the Here's to Your Health podcast. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.